Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Welcome to another video if you're watching on YouTube. I'm very excited to be recording this episode today. Today is officially episode number 100 of this podcast, the Joyful Money Podcast. And I am so grateful for all of you, and I'm so grateful to God for everything I've achieved on this podcast. Believe it or not, it's not even up to 1 year since I started this podcast and the results have just been mind blowing. I started this podcast last year in 2023, and I was just like, okay, let me use this as my personal development. And right now, this podcast is ranked the top 2.5% in the whole world. I cannot believe it too, but I have to believe it, right? Because it's a reality. And so I want to take some time to appreciate all of you who watch my show, all of you who listen to my show on the podcast, and all of you who contact me, all of you who send me comments and tell me how my work is impacting your life. It means a lot to me, and I wanted to take the time to say thank you. It's the 1st of October, and I'm just so grateful, even though the world is actually suffering right now with countless debts, unnecessary debts, and um, so many wars that are just unnecessary. So even though I am grateful, I still think and I'm overwhelmed with the pain and suffering in this world. And so it's kind of two different sides of the coin, right? On the one side, the world is suffering, and even though I'm not directly impacted, indirectly, I'm living the suffering of all of these people when I watch the news, which I shouldn't watch as much as I do. And I see all of these sufferings, the number of people that are dying, it has an indirect impact on me, on my mood, and how I show up in the world. Because as humans, we tend to share our pain, right? So when somebody is suffering on in another part of the world, it affects us. So collectively as humans, we're going through a very traumatic experience. And so it's good to pause and acknowledge the trauma the world is going through right now. And at the same time, be very grateful. I am so lucky. I don't like to use the word lucky because I feel like it's a blessing. I'm very blessed by God to live in a country where it's so peaceful. I have opportunities to create wealth. I know it's not the same for many people. So I take the time today, the 1st of October, to give thanks, to reflect, and to pray for the entire world. So today, I want to talk to you about how to get whatever you want from life. Whatever you want is available to you. And like I've said in many episodes in the past, on this podcast, I'm going to tell you things based on my experience, right? Um, I don't want to preach at you because at the end of the day, you can go buy a book, right? Go on Amazon and buy a book. There are tons of theory on how to build a business. But on this podcast, I'm going to use myself as a guinea pig and I'm going to tell you what has worked for me and how I have gotten the results I've gotten so far. And one of them is this tool I'm going to share with you. The tool is called the thought model. Now, my favorite book in the world, the Bible, says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, that scripture didn't mean, like, I've known the scripture since I was a child. So I grew up Christian in church, and my daddy took us to church every single Sunday and sometimes on Wednesdays. So I grew up learning the Bible. I know tons and tons of Bible verses. But until I started learning about life coaching, I attended a life coach school and paid $25,000 to the life coach school to become certified as a life coach. Not until then did I understand the power of that scripture that says, as a man thinketh, so is he. Now, before I go into detail on exactly how this tool works, I want you to realize your power as a human being. You see, when God created you, he made you in his image and likeness, and he made you like him. We are like God. Can you believe that? But somehow, because of life circumstances, we've kind of shrunk, right? We've shrunk to become a shell of ourselves. And I think it breaks God's heart because we're not living the life he envisioned for us. You are so powerful. If you understand how powerful you are as a human being, if you understand the magnificence of the mind and the brain God has blessed you with, you will be in awe of yourself. But like I said, life circumstances has changed us, right? So I want to show you this tool. This is a tool that has transformed my life, and it just gave me every single thing I've always dreamed of. And I want to share this tool with you. It's called the thought model. And the thought model says your thoughts, when you think a specific thought, that thought creates a feeling in your body, right? And when it creates a feeling in your body, from that feeling, you take specific actions. And the actions you take determine your results. Okay? The actions you take determine your results. I'm going to say that again because I want to talk very slowly so you hear me. Like this, what I'm about to share with you today, I promise you can transform your life. So listen very attentively. Your thoughts create a specific feeling inside your body. When you feel that feeling inside your body, it makes you to take specific actions, and those actions you take determine the results you create in life. Now, if you look at your life right now, the results you've created right now is as a result of the thoughts you've thought. Your thoughts have created your reality. Now, I have tested this hundreds of times with different clients, and it has proven true every single time. Your current reality is as a result of your thoughts. You have created your current reality. Now, this is good news, right? Because many people will say, oh, no, I didn't create my current reality. The economy created my current reality. I lost my job because of the economy. No, your thoughts have created your reality, and I'm going to prove it to you today. Now, I am a very, very visual learner, and so I like to do like slides to show you what I mean because some people are auditory learners that can learn from the sound of my voice. Well, maybe you are like me, you learn visually. So I'm going to share my screen and walk you through these concepts to prove to you that your thoughts have created the results you have today. If you're listening on the podcast and maybe you're driving, keep driving and just listen. I'm going to try my best to describe what I'm sharing on screen. But when you get home or get to the office or get somewhere safe, you can go back to the YouTube channel and look at the slides I'm sharing. It's going to give you a different feel for how it is. So the thought model says circumstances are neutral. So it doesn't matter what happens in the world or the specific circumstances. The thought model says the thoughts you choose to think about the circumstances create a specific feeling in your body. When you feel a specific feeling in your body, you take specific actions, and those actions you take determine the results you create in life. Let's take, for example, the weather. The weather is neutral, like that's just a fact. The weather, right? That's the C in the model. It's a fact. But when you choose to think the thought, oh, it's cold outside and that's bad. How do you feel when you think, oh, it's so cold today? Well, you feel disappointed. And when you feel disappointed, what actions do you take? Well, you feel sluggish, you stay inside. And when you feel sluggish and you stay inside, what results do you create? Well, you feel bad about your day. That's an example. Let's take another example, the traffic. The traffic in and of itself is neutral. But when you choose to think the thought, oh, I'm going to be late today and that looks very bad. When you think that thought, how do you feel in your body? Well, you're going to feel frustrated. And when you feel frustrated, what actions do you take? Well, you are short tempered and you're apologetic. And then what results do you create? Well, you're going to look bad when you get to the office. Here's another example. Circumstance, that's a fact. Husband didn't clean up, that's a fact. Until you choose to think the thought, why can't he help me help more? He doesn't care about me. When you think that thought, what feeling does it create in your body? Well, you feel resentful. And when you feel resentful, what actions do you take? Well, you become cold, you become distant. And then what result does that create? Well, your husband doesn't want to be around you, right? You push your husband away because you think the thought, why can't he help me out more? He doesn't care about me. When you think that thought, what do you feel in your body? You feel angry, you feel resentful. And when you feel angry and resentful, what actions do you take? You don't talk to him, you don't say hello, you are cold, you're distant, you give him the cold treatment. And when you give him the cold treatment, what happens? Your husband stays away from you. He doesn't want to be around you. Let's take another example, the laundry. The laundry, in and of itself, is a circumstance, is a fact. But when you choose to think the thought, my life is so overwhelming, when you think my life is so overwhelming, what feeling does it create in your body? Well, you feel overwhelmed, you feel exhausted. And when you feel overwhelmed and exhausted, what action do you take? Well, you just do nothing. Maybe watch Netflix. And then when you do that, what results do you create? Well, the laundry piles up, you have more and more dirty clothes to wash. Can you see how your thoughts are creating your results? Let's take weight loss, for example. The number you see on the scale is completely neutral. You climb on the scale and you see, let's say, 200 pounds. When you think the thought, oh, I'm never going to be able to lose weight. When you think that thought, I'm never going to be able to lose weight, what do you feel in your body? Well, you feel unworthy. And when you feel unworthy, what actions do you take? If you're like me, you eat chocolate, right? You eat chocolate. And when you eat chocolate, biscuits, cookies, what results do you create? Well, you create more weight. You keep adding more weight. Let's take the amount in your bank account. Let's say you have $100 in your bank account. That's a fact. That's a circumstance. But when you choose to think the thought, I am so irresponsible. When you think I am so irresponsible, what do you feel in your body? Well, you feel worried, you feel ashamed. And then what actions do you take when you feel worried and ashamed? Well, you don't look at your bank account often because when you look at your bank account, you feel ashamed. And when you don't look at your bank account often, well, you continue to have an overdrawn account. You see how your thought of I am irresponsible is actually creating the results of irresponsibility. So again, this is a thought model. Your thoughts create your feelings create your actions, and your actions ultimately create your results. Now, how do we change our results? Remember, I told you that you can create the life you want. You can get whatever you want in life. So let's look at a new model. Step one is to be curious, right? Now, looking at this slide, you may think it's very easy to do, right? If I say catch your thoughts, because your thoughts are creating your results, I want you to observe your thoughts. What thoughts have you been thinking every day? Research shows that every human being has about 10,000 thoughts per day. And of that 10,000 thoughts, over 90% of them are the same thoughts. So the same thoughts you thought yesterday, last week, last month is the same thoughts you think every single day. And that's why you have the results you have today. That's why you have the life you have today, because your thoughts are going on an autopilot inside of your subconscious mind. You might not be able to catch it unless you do the work. And what is the work? The work is to be able to identify your thoughts. This is a meta skill. Not everybody can do this. You need to be able to catch the thoughts you think every single day that has created the results you want. And now, I want you to be curious. You're not going to judge yourself. There is no judging here. I just want you to be curious to find out the thoughts you think every single day that has created the results you have today. Do not be in a rush. There is no rush to change your thought. The goal, the first step is to catch the thoughts you think. Now, the second step is to find a new thought. Here's the thing. The new thought you choose has to be believable. Okay? You can't force the thoughts on yourself. It has to be something you believe. So make sure you can find the truth in the new thoughts you choose. Choose the thought that will give you the feeling you want and that create the actions that will change your results, because that's the ultimate goal, to change your results. You have to change your thoughts. Now, Write that thought down, the thought you want to choose to change your life forever. Write it down and begin to look for evidence of proof of that thought around you, and then practice believing that thought. Step number three is to redirect those thoughts. Now, write it down everywhere. Begin to look for evidence of it and practice believing that thought. Let's go back to the example. Remember the first time when I said the weather is a circumstance and is a fact? So, for example, let's choose 0 degrees centigrade. Let's say that's what the thermometer, when you take out your thermometer, it reads 0 degrees centigrade. When you think the thought, oh, such a cold day and that's bad, how are you going to feel? Disappointed, and then action is sluggish, you stay inside, you feel bad. Result is you feel bad about your day. Now, the same circumstance, the same exact weather, 0 degrees centigrade, if you think the thought, oh, it's so beautiful outside today. When you think the thought, it's so beautiful outside today, how do you feel? What feeling does that thought create in your body? Well, the feeling is gratitude. You feel grateful. And when you feel grateful, what actions do you take from a place of gratitude? Well, you have energy to do what you need to do. And when you have that energy from that action you take, what result do you create? Well, you have a beautiful day. So, can you see that the thought you choose to think about the weather is what is actually creating your results? Let's take the other example, the traffic. So, if you think the thought, oh, there's so much traffic today, I'm going to look bad when I'm late, you feel frustrated. And when you feel frustrated, you have a short temper. And when you have a short temper, what results do you create? Well, you end up looking bad. Now, the same circumstance, if you choose to think the thought, everything will work out how it should. When you think the thought, everything is going to work out, what feeling do you feel in your body? Well, you're going to feel calm. And when you feel calm, what actions do you take from that place of calmness? Well, you're more confident, your tone changes. And what results do you create? Well, I am not rattled if people are offended. So, can you see the same exact circumstance? Because of the thought you're choosing to think, you are creating different results. The same circumstance, the same traffic, but two different results. My husband didn't clean up. And you think that, why can't he help me more? You feel resentful, and when you feel resentful, how do you act? You're cold, you're distant. And what results do you create? Well, your husband stays away from you. The same exact circumstance. Let's look at a different thought. When you think, oh, my husband's behavior isn't about me, it's about him. How do you feel? Well, you feel neutral. What action do you take when you feel neutral? Well, you have a conversation about what you need from him. And when you have a conversation about what you need from him, what results do you create? Well, more likely to get the help you need and connection with your husband. Now, can you see two different thoughts, but the same circumstance, and you create two different results? Same example as the laundry. Instead of thinking my life is overwhelming, if you choose to think, how can I make this more fun and easier? When you think, how can I make it more fun and easier? Well, the feeling is curiosity and you become strategic. What action do you take? Maybe you ask your friends, maybe you go on Google, maybe you talk to family and say, oh, I am curious. How do you guys deal with your laundry when you have a pile of laundry? What results do you create? Well, you find helpful solutions, right? The same exact circumstance, but the thoughts you're choosing to think create different results. Let's look at the number on the scale. Instead of thinking to yourself, I'll never be able to lose weight, and then feeling unworthy, and then eating more chocolate chip cookies, and then adding more weight, if you change that thought and you choose, I just haven't figured this out yet. I'm on my way to figuring out how to be healthier. When you think that thought, I'm on my way to figure out how to be healthier. How do you feel? Well, you feel curious and then you're hopeful. When you feel curious and hopeful, what actions do you take? Well, you keep seeking solutions and trying to find solutions. When you Try to find solutions. What results do you create? You find what works for you and your body. Can you see the same number of this on the scale, 200 pounds on the scale, but you're choosing two different thoughts and then creating two different results. Let's look at the amount in your bank account. Instead of thinking I'm irresponsible, if you think, well, money is easy to get. When you think the thought money is easy to get, what feeling do you create in your body? Well, you create a feeling of curiosity. You're driven to find solutions. What actions do you take? Well, you seek ways to create and manage your money better. And what results do you create when you take that action? Well, you become good with money. Now, remember this. You must find a thought that resonates with you. The thought has to be believable, right? So practice this using this thought model to catch the thoughts, the old thoughts that has created your life right now, and find a new thought to create the life you want, the life of wealth and abundance you want. Changing your thoughts starts with identifying your current thoughts. So you cannot change something if you don't know exactly what you're thinking right now. Okay, so you might say to yourself, how does this relate to making money, being wealthy? Because that's what this podcast is about. That's what my YouTube channel is about, to help you go from struggling to successful. Now, this is how it works. You have current thoughts, and your thoughts have created the results you have in your business. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed, let's say you think, oh, there's so much to do in my business. I don't have the time to do all of these things. I feel so overwhelmed. When you think that thought, what feeling does it create in your body? Well, it creates the feeling of overwhelm. And when you feel overwhelmed, what action do you take? If you're like me, you watch Netflix, right? And when you watch Netflix all day, what results do you create in your business? Well, nothing. You create no results in your business. So the thoughts you've been thinking about your business has created the results you have right now. Your business revenue, the revenue you have every single month right now. Let's say you're making $5,000 per month. The thoughts you've been thinking has created $5,000 per month in your business. If you want to create $50,000 per month in your business, then you need to change the thoughts you're thinking. Because the thoughts that create $5,000 is not the thought that will create $50,000 per month. Do you understand what I mean? So if you want $50,000 per month in your business, you have to think the thought that will create the results of $50,000 in your business. So for example, instead of thinking, oh, there's so much to do, or I'm just a solopreneur, there's nobody to help me, there's so much to do to run a business. Instead of thinking that thought, if you choose stuff like, I'm going to figure this out. Oh, I'm a badass. I've got this. When you think the thought, I'm a badass, I've got this, I'm going to figure this out. When you think that thought, those thoughts, what feeling does it create in your body? Well, you feel empowered. You feel motivated. And when you feel empowered and motivated, what actions do you take? Well, you log into your computer and you work on your business. When you log into your computer and you work on your business, what results do you create? Well, you create more revenue in your business. That's exactly how it works. And I have tested this over and over and over again. When you feel lazy to work on your business, I want you to think, what thoughts have I thought in my head to create that feeling of laziness? Maybe the thought was, oh, there's so much to do today. Oh gosh, I'm just overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed. I feel tired. When you think all of those thoughts, it creates a feeling of laziness in your body. And when you feel lazy, what do? You watch Netflix. I keep using the example of Netflix, but it's just so relatable, right? So, if you want to create a different result in your life, and this applies to all areas of life, relationships, family, health and wellness, the money in your bank account. So here's your assignment. So I like to give assignments because at the end of the day, there is no point of you watching this YouTube video or listening to this podcast if you're not going to apply what you're learning. It is the application of what you're learning that will change your circumstance. When you have the time, watch the YouTube video, and then I want you to write in your journal the thought model, right? I gave you circumstance, thought, feeling, action, result. Write that on a piece of paper, and then on the result line, I want you to write the result you want to create, right? So if you want to create $50,000 per month, you put that $50,000 per month in the result line. So for example, I'm on a journey to create a $10 million per year business. So if I was writing the model, I'm going to put $10 million per year in the result line. Now, we're going to re-engineer the process, right? So I know it starts with the circumstance, right? The thought model starts circumstance, thought, feeling, action, result. But to re-engineer the process, we're going to start with the result first. Decide your goal. If your goal is 50K per month, write 50K per month on the result line. And then on the action line, I want you to think, what actions do I need to take to create a $50 per month business? You know, if you're a business owner, you know already the actions you're supposed to take in your business to create $50,000 per month. And if you didn't know, I'm going to tell you right now. You need to make offers, right? You need to have conversations with your ideal clients, form relationships with your ideal clients, and make offers. Tell them you can help them get the results they want. That's exactly what you need to do. Okay? So you need to make offers to create a $50,000 per month business. Well, now that's the action line, right? What feeling do you need to be feeling in order to take that action? Well, you need to feel empowered. You need to feel motivated. You need to feel, I got this, right? You need to have that feeling of empowerment. So that goes in the F line of the model. And then, what thoughts do you need to be thinking to generate those feelings? You need to think the thoughts that will help you generate those feelings, that will help you take the actions that will give you the results you want. So, for example, mine is, I've got this. I'm not an imposter. I have something of value to share with the world. I am blessed with talent and skill, and I'm here to profit from my talent and skill. So these are some of the thoughts I think that help me to take the actions necessary to create the results I want. Now, for some of you, this might be so too deep, right? Maybe I went too deep today, but my goal is to help you get results, right? This is October. You have 3 months left in this year to take the actions necessary to create the life of wealth and abundance you want. Not just that you want, but you deserve. You deserve a life of wealth and abundance. So, my goal and my hope for you is that you would take action and take steps to practice all of these things, because only those people who take action will get results. Okay? Now, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'm available on social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn as well. I'm very active on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, just drop me a DM. I'll be happy to help. If you have any comments as well, you can comment on the YouTube video and I'll be happy to help as well. I hope you've learned something of value in this episode. I will see you back here on the next episode. Bye for now. Hey, very quickly before you go, if this podcast inspired or encouraged you in any way, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and share this with a friend. It means a lot to us, and we appreciate your kindness and generosity in doing this. We'll see you back here on the next episode. Bye-bye.